All right, so today we are going to talk about book covers, like what are some of the really cool ones, and I am going to have a special guest with him, my boyfriend. I claim him sometimes.
Hello,
Introduce yourself.
my name is Dan, and I also like books. Mostly sci-fi and fantasy, but I dabble in some other stuff. Boring books, too, as she would call them.
I don't think
Business books.
Yeah. With the first look exclusive of Dune, it got me super excited about it again. I did buy a special edition of Dune recently, and I just really want to show it off, kind of, and then talk about like what makes a really good book cover. So we'll start with Dune first because that's what I'm most excited about. I feel like a lot of the older sci-fi and older fantasy were
Not the best covers.
not the best covers, and that goes for Dune. The first Dune, doesn't. It's not very interesting.
It's fairly accurate for what's in the book, though. You know, if you look at it, it's sand and two people walking around sand, which there's a lot of that in Dune.
Yeah. There are new edition covers of Dune, which I really, really like. I'll post a picture of them, or just the first one, I guess, for Dune. That way we are comparing just the first book in the series.
We'll put it over here.
But as much as I would like to support our local bookstores, I can't always go to them for certain things like special edition books. That's where Barnes & Noble comes in handy, which is where I got this bad boy. I could not help myself. I didn't get it the first time I went to the store, but I had to have it. Okay, so looks awesome for the cover, right? Then it has the blue of the spice.
And the eyes.
Yeah, and it has it on the eyes too. It's probably not a very good picture of it, but you can't see it very well.
Yeah.
But his eyes on the front are blue, like they are with the spice. And then I love it when the edges of the books are different colors. Then, if you think that's good enough, or cool enough, the inside of the hardcover is awesome.
Wow. I don't know if I've even seen that.
I've
before.
shown it to you.
Apparently I wasn't paying attention. That's awesome.
And on the back is a different picture. Has a sandworm in there.
Wow.
Then, as if things couldn't get better, which, fun fact, they do, the inside of the dust jacket is this awesomeness.
I like when they put stuff on the inside of the dust jacket because it's like, it's hidden, but it's like a nice treat when you open it up.
But yeah, the blue for the eyes is on this one too. Really, really cool. And then you can't even really tell very well, but on the front cover, it says, "Fear is the mind killer," quote from the book, which is awesome. And there's a little circle on the back too. Yeah. Yeah, so overall, just a really awesome edition. I love it. There are some other books that will have like artwork and stuff on the inside too. I feel like you get so much more out of your book purchase when there's extra stuff to it.
Yeah, this is probably one of the coolest book editions that we have, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do like our leather ones, but I think this is way cooler.
Yeah, like Dracula up there, and we have some Star Wars editions of books that are pretty cool. But yeah, the older sci-fi books are lacking, I think, the most. Speaking of older sci-fi books, this is a book cover that I don't like. This one is Stranger in a Strange Land. Awesome book. If you haven't read it, you should. I feel like the cover looks very mermaidy. Like, if you've read the book, you know what's going on, but it just, if I were to look at this book on the shelf and I hadn't already known what the book was about, I probably would not have picked it up. It's very, I don't know.
It's very, I want to be where the people are. So, this is one of my favorite books that I've read recently. I think I started this, last year? Yeah. I started this series last year. It's part of James Corey's The Expanse, Leviathan Wakes, the first book. I really like all of his covers because they just talk to me of like epic space adventure. So I'll zoom in on it here. But they got this huge ship. There's kind of a small moon or asteroid there that they're hanging out with. The book cover gets me excited. And all of his book covers are like that. I have a couple others. I'll just grab them for science.
And given the industry that he's in, he very much loves spaceships and looking at spaceships.
Yeah, I'm an engineer. I design airplanes, but I also like spaceships too.
Which is basically like, airplanes for space.
Yeah, they're just like airplanes of space. Or maybe airplanes or spaceships of the Earth.
Aerospace engineering is basically rocket science, right? Yeah. So, close enough.
So these are the next two books in the series. Caliban's War and Abaddon's Gate. Caliban's War is kind of my least favorite cover because it's, I don't know, less exciting. What are you doing?
We have our dog in here with us.
Our dog just sat on the cord connecting to the microphone. So
Sherlock.
Technical difficulties. Yeah.
Aww. This is our pup.
This pup tried to get tangled up in our microphone cord, so now he's trapped. So I'll steal him for a moment, and he'll join us.
His name is Sherlock, although he is not very smart for his name'sake.
Earlier, I was looking down a lot because he kept licking the books. Just one lick, just.
Yeah, he likes to lick books in bed. If we're sitting there with a book, he just walks up to it and just. This book I was gonna get it on my Kindle, because I do that with book club books. If it's something I'm not sure I'll like or not, that way if I didn't like it, then I didn't waste a ton of money. This one. I found the cover and it was on sale and it's gorgeous. Where the crawdads sing. It looks like it has this gold kind of shininess, and then on the inside it has the marsh and the little boat she uses. And the cover, I feel like it goes with the book very well, but it's, I feel like it did the book justice. I hate it when it's like not related to the book at all. This is a book cover that had a lot of potential, and I think it kind of fell short, but he did make up for it with the 10th anniversary edition, The Name in the Wind. I very much enjoy this book, but the cover is, I'll post a picture of the 10th anniversary edition, and I feel like it represents the book a lot better than this one. And then like the Dune book I showed earlier, the 10th anniversary edition for that book has the red along the edges, and then it has the blurb on the back is on the inside cover, the way Dune had artwork on the inside cover. I feel like it could have been done better. Not to downplay the artist or anything, but you know what I mean. This one is a nonfiction. I highly recommend for women and men because I think men could benefit from reading it, and I really enjoyed her sense of humor. This is Sex Plus. Learning, loving, and enjoying your body. No matter what stage of your life you're in, you could very much benefit from this. I feel like it explains a lot about your body and sex well. It goes over gender identity, sexual identity. It talks about consent, which is very important, birth control, and just everything in between. But I just really love the simplicity in this cover because it's just like the little peach emoji, which made me laugh and is what got me to pick up the book, even though there's not a lot to it. So I did judge a book by its cover and picked it up because of that.
Speaking of judging books by its cover, maybe that's a good segue into the next book I want to talk about. This book, not sure that it's very well known, but it's by a well-known author. So it's Saturn Run by John Sanford, and I believe it's Tyne. I think the C is just there to confuse us. So John Sanford and Tyne. So what's kind of interesting about this book, if you look at it from afar, you're just like, okay, it's kind of boring. It's, white with some color in there. But, if you zoom in, you can see that it's actually transparent. All the text is transparent. They have a few small details, like a couple of spaceships here, which I think are pretty sweet. But when you open the book, or open the dust jacket, you get this really cool space scene with some awesome colors behind it. And this was a book where I was walking through, I think we were at Barnes and Noble, and it was on one of the racks, and I just was like, I'm buying that. That's cool. I like the colors. I dig it. It's got spaceships on it. Sold.
It was a very interesting cover, especially with the transparency and the actual cover being on the hardcover.
Yeah. And this was probably a perfect find for me. I really enjoyed this book. It's a hard sci-fi book, so it's not for everybody because it focuses a lot on the science, and it's just right ahead of where we are today with science. So it's fun for us nerds that are into that. And all the stuff in here is theoretically close to possible, or we think it's possible with the science we have today. Very good book. Very cool cover, but also very cool color.
Speaking of colors, the next book I'm going to talk about as far as covers is Warbreaker by Brando Sando. I like that there's like what do you call that? I feel like this explains a lot about the book. I have not read this yet. It has been on my radar for a long time, but I have so many books on my TBR. I am slowly getting there. I am very excited to read this book. I want to read this book first before picking up Stormlight Archive, also by Brando Sando. Brandon Sanderson. I like calling him Brando Sando.
Brando Sando.
But I want to read Warbreaker first. I've already read Mistborn, Era 1, and then it was recommended to me to read this before Stormlight. That's not what this video is about. This video is about the cover. So the magic system is based on color, which you get in there, and I think her dress is really cool, and it's very, I think it's cool. Next, I'm going to talk about Jurassic Park. I have the the movie sort of cover edition. Most cases, I don't like the movie covers on the book covers. This is the one. It's so iconic, though, that this one is fine. This one is the leather-bound Barnes & Noble edition, which is what I read and picked up first. I love all of the special editions at Barnes & Noble. They're just so cool. And they're fairly cheap. They're like 20 bucks, 25 bucks, and you can get...
Yeah. I think this was 25.
Yeah. And the kid books are like 10 bucks. Like, it's not terrible for the price, I think. It's the same price as just a regular hardback. But yeah, so I think this is just gorgeous in general. And then I don't like the movie covers on there, but this one is so iconic that I do like it, and I bought it. I got it at a bag of books sale, so totally justifiable. And this one has the cool silver lining on it too.
So shiny, and it's got the little strip of or little ribbon there to keep your place.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not just Jurassic Park; it's got the Lost World in there too, which is, it's okay.
It's better than the movie, of course.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah.
We don't
way better than the movie.
I still like The Lost World, and I definitely recommend reading it, but I still like Jurassic Park a lot more than the second book.
Yeah, and I have to say, I grew up watching this movie, like, all the time. Mm-hmm. And I didn't read the book until,
we got it like
late 20s?
2 years or 3 years ago.
It blew my mind. So good. It was like a throwback to being a kid watching Jurassic Park, but so much better because the book kicks the movie's butt, we'll say.
We are very vulgar. We're just trying to keep the video PG. Somewhat PG. I won't. Don't gush about Jurassic Park. Okay.
You can gush a little bit.
I will go way off track. Another quick one. I'll just do this one super quick. So this one is one from my childhood. I also picked this one up at a bag of book sale. It's like $5 and you fill the bag with books. This one, Animorphs. Talk about throwbacks to childhood. I loved it as a kid because you see sort of the transformation, and then you have like the lizard on the inside cover, which as a kid I thought it was the coolest thing ever. It represents the book pretty well, I think, and then each book has a different character transforming into a different animal. Really cool for kid books, I think.
Yeah.
I'm slowly trying to get all of the Animorphs books. Oh, hi!
Hello, Pop. He's back.
I don't have all of them in order yet, but I just have a small stack of them. But
stop breathing.
Checking out those bag of book sales, used book sales to try and find them all. I'll let you talk about this one because you like it. It's also very spaceshipy.
Let me get this pup out of the way first. Puppy, get out of here. I know you're cute and cuddly, but it's not cuddle time.
This one is also very spaceshipy, so that is very much his.
Yeah. This is Armada by Ernest Cline. I love Ernest Cline. I've read 2 of his books. I think, does he have more than?
I don't think so.
He may have some screenplays, but I read this one, and he's most well known for Ready Player One. That was kind of a big craze a few years back. So awesome author. If you're a nerd, great book for you. It's kind of like video games come to life. The cover. That's what we're here for. So the front of it, the dust jacket is, it's kind of interesting. It's like a stylized sort of. It kind of reminds me of a video game a little bit. You got the little Space Invaders coming down. Here's your little ship going up to fight it. The coolest part about this book is actually on the inside of the dust jacket, but we'll save that for last. Next is, you have kind of a continuation of that little ship from the front of the dust cover here on the cover.
Very simple, but cool.
Armada. Simple, nice, not the cool part. The cool part is on the inside of the dust jacket, we have here a little diagram of our spaceship, the ADI-88 Interceptor.
And given his field of work, seeing blueprints of airplanes and spaceships and stuff like that is super fascinating. I like those, and that's not even something that's not related to my field, but it's really cool.
Pretty cool.
Again, I feel like it's going above and beyond when there's artwork on the inside of the dust jacket as well. It's a really nice surprise when you find a book like that. This one does not have anything on the inside of the dust jacket, but it does have, actually I'll get to that in a minute. This one is by Greene, an absolutely remarkable thing. I feel like, so it has like this, like all the Carls, if you've read the book, on there. This little like robot statue guy, in a pattern where it's like an optical illusion. And then the inside cover is really cool. Has like different words that it's spelling out and stuff too. Then it's probably hard to see on the hardcover here, but there's a little Carl there too. And yeah, and the hardcover, while that's very simple, is shiny. I like it when it's shiny.
Everything's shiny, Captain.
Firefly reference for those who haven't seen that. And then I like the colors too, because it coincides with the dust jacket. Also, his next book, we'll post a picture right here of his next book, and it does the same thing where it has like an optical illusion on the front. So that
what's the name of his next book?
I think it's A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor, something like that.
That sounds right.
Yeah. I just love Hank Greene in general.
He's awesome.
Him and John, gems. So these covers I like, but they're not like above and beyond. I'm just gonna hold up the whole case. So we have Mistborn. The first one I kind of like. This is the second book. They're okay. I think the third cover is my favorite, where both Vin and Elend are on the cover, and he's got his white kingly uniform on. I think it looks a lot. This one's got favorite out of all of them. But my complaint is that the UK editions are so much cooler. And that's the general consensus for everything. We'll post pictures. I feel like UK editions always look better than our American editions. I have several UK subscribers. Let me know in the comments, guys, if it's one of those things where you just want something that you don't have. Like if you want the American edition covers, or if it's just an American, or if American covers just suck more in general.
They just suck.
Not to downplay the artist or anything. Obviously, it's still really good artwork, but I think going for more representation of the book. These are okay. Like this one's by far my favorite. Like I said, I feel like they do represent the book, but I don't know. I do kind of like the more simple artwork, like this one. I've showed this book in my April TBR. This one is Firefly Junction by London Levitt. It's a very, very simple cover, but I think it's super well done and just beautifully executed. And then each book in the series has sort of the same layout. I feel like I'm not looking at the camera.
There's a camera?
I keep looking over here instead of over there. But each book in the series has like different seasons, so there will be like snow or whatever going on. But I just like the coloration of it. She has some other books too that have very simple but beautiful covers that change just a little bit with each book. But yeah, it's just so simple and cute.
You're cute.
Sometimes. This book I have already showcased on the channel for my book review, but I love this cover, and it is The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter, and it is amazing. I feel like this represents the book very well. He also just released his cover for his second book, The Fires of Vengeance. Looks so badass.
So cool.
The mask looks like the tribal.
It's like a tribal-inspired dragon.
Yeah. A lot of artwork based on his culture, and that mask is it's so cool.
Yeah, it's based on, what is it, the Xhosa people, I think it's called?
I think so. He grew up in Zambia.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Super nice
awesome.
guy, too.
He is so nice. He's done 2 interviews with Daniel Greene so far. I linked the interview about his first book in the book review. He did a second interview just recently talking about the cover reveal for his next book. And, it's so awesome. And he just seems like an all-around nice guy. And it makes me love him more. Makes me appreciate him. Oh my gosh. Definitely an author that I would love to meet and chat with. So, yeah.
I feel like it's really good when the cover of a book can represent something that's in the book. Or you know, even in some of these, just be really badass. Mm-hmm. Or, in the case of Rage of Dragons, both.
Yeah, definitely very well done. Even there's another edition of his book. The first cover before this one was also pretty badass, but I really do like this cover. I feel like book covers have come a long way. Especially from the old fantasy, old sci-fi-ness. Like, the Wheel of Time covers are kind of weird, I think. I do like the newer editions of them. Yeah.
Can't get that thing off it.
The reflection.
That darn light. There it is. There we go. We figured it out.
I feel like that kind of turns a lot of people off because they think it's probably weird and not as awesome as it actually is.
To be fair, it is weird, but in an awesome way.
It's very awesome. There are like the larger paperback editions. I think those covers are pretty cool. I'll post a couple of those too. And then they just came out with new mass market paperback ones within the last year or two. We'll link those as well.
And those are more of like a stylized
yeah, they're more stylized and they're
cover.
Very, very simple. I like both complex and simple covers. I feel like I lean more towards the simple covers. I feel bad because I don't want to downplay the artist at all. Obviously, the artwork is still good, and they have to go through it gets approved from multiple chains, obviously. So they're not the only person deciding it, but I think I don't like movie covers, the movie cover editions of books in general. Like The Handmaid's Tale, like we have the TV show edition one. It's just, I don't know. I want the original covers. So as you can see, in a lot of cases, we have picked books solely based on their covers. While I do, like if I look at a book and I'm like, what's this about? I'll still read the blurb on the back and see if it's something I'm interested in. But in general, most of the time, if it has a cover that really pops and like really grabs your attention and is very aesthetically pleasing, that's going to catch my attention a lot more. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I like books. And I like covers.
We'll still read them, but you know, yeah. It's very nice when they're aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. I mean, I can hate on the cover of the Wheel of Time books all I want, but
we love Wheel of Time.
So good.
So yeah, I think that's all. Let us know in the comments if you like UK editions better than American editions, and just book covers that you enjoy in general. Let us know in the comments if you judge books by their covers, and if it turned out to be really good and you were glad that you picked that book up because of that.
Or tell us in the comments if you had a book you picked up that had just a horrible cover but turned out to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's lots of those.
Do you collect any special editions? Do you like the leather-bound books? I hate reading them in bed because they're so big and clunky, but yeah.
Do you
Anyway.
do you buy a whole bunch of extra copies of the same book that you don't need just because they're awesome?
I am not as bad as some other booktubers. Anyway, chat with us down below on what you like and don't like in book covers. And thanks to my boyfriend for chatting with me.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
And yeah, so we'll see you next time.